Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 1980s Cruisin', written and directed by William Friedkin. Now, this is partially going to be a review of the movie as well as a review of this upcoming Arrow Video Blu-ray release for the film. And Cruising is about a young New York City detective played by Al Pacino who was tasked with going undercover into the underground world of gay S&M clubs in order to track down a killer. However, the longer he remains in this subculture undercover, the more ambiguous the identity of the killer becomes, and the more Al Pacino's character seems to be losing grasp of who he really is. Now, I first saw Cruising many years ago. I'm a big William Friedkin fan. I've liked just about all of his films, so that drew me to Cruising. I was aware of the movie's controversy. I was also aware of the movie's reputation as far as how unique it is, because Cruising doesn't really fit into any specific genre. It's a hard movie to really pin down into one category because it has police procedural type elements, but it's not really a police procedural movie. It has serial killer whodunit elements, but it's not really a serial killer whodunit kind of movie. It's really a unique film. It's a very layered movie as well. There's a lot going on in Cruising. And when I first saw the film, I was definitely taken aback. First and foremost, the overt, very graphic sexuality in the film I found to be uncomfortable, quite frankly. And when it comes to the identity of the killer, and I don't want to go into too much detail here, but if you've seen Cruising, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was really just kind of fascinated with this movie. It was the kind of movie that stuck with me. I would find myself thinking about it on a fairly regular basis and wanting to rewatch the movie and really try to get to the bottom of what's going on here and what this movie's trying to say. Now, having watched the movie for the first time in a long time, courtesy of this Blu-ray release, I'm still just as fascinated by Cruising. This is, first and foremost, a great looking movie. It was shot in New York City, so it's got that kind of almost 70s grindhouse kind of feel to it. You've got the urban kind of grittiness in there, but the movie is far too well made and far too good looking to really be classified as a grindhouse movie. So even on that level, you can't really, put the movie in a box. The acting from top to bottom is fantastic. Al Pacino is great in this movie. There are so many really recognizable faces in this cast with small to medium roles. You've got Paul Sorvino, you've got Karen Allen, you've got the great Joe Spinell, you've got Mike Starr, you've got Ed O'Neill, you've got Powers Booth, you've got James Remar, you've got Gene Davis. Just great cast in this movie. The score is also just really, it's not the kind of score you would hear in a serial killer thriller police procedural kind of movie. It's a very, again, unique kind of score that just adds mystery and atmosphere onto an already incredibly mysterious and atmospheric movie. And when it comes down to the serial killer elements in the film, or the identity of the serial killer, writer-director William Friedkin does something just, I think, absolutely brilliant in that he keeps it very ambiguous. I found myself thinking of It Follows more than once while watching the film on this Blu-ray when it came to the ambiguity of the killer. I kind of thought maybe the killer is symbolic of AIDS, but this film takes place before the AIDS crisis really sort of swept across the nation. And also I thought, well, maybe the killer in this film is symbolic of, just people not being accepting of homosexuals and homosexuality. I don't know. This is definitely a movie that you can rewatch and dissect, and I think ascribe all sorts of symbolism to this film. That's why I love this movie so much. This is just a really mysterious, atmospheric, ambiguous, extremely well acted, extremely well made movie. And it was just as fascinating the second time around as it was the first. If you've not seen Cruising, I highly recommend it. This Blu-ray from Arrow Video would be a great way to introduce yourself to the film. If you're a fan of Cruising, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray from Arrow Video and adding it to your collection. First, let's take a look at the presentation here. We get a nice slipcase for this release with that artwork on the slipcase. The sleeve on the inside is reversible, and you can either use the artwork that is on the slipcase, or you can reverse the sleeve for some different artwork to display on your Cruising release. This release also comes with a very nice booklet featuring a write-up about the film entitled Exercise Prejudice, William Friedkin's Cruising by F.X. Feeney. The booklet also includes some really nice full-color images from the film. As far as the picture quality and sound quality on this release features a brand new restoration from a 4K scan of the original camera negative, supervised and approved by William Friedkin. I would give the picture quality on this release a solid 4.5 out of 5. This is a great looking movie, but it's not like the most colorful film. The colors don't really pop or leap off the screen at you. The way William Friedkin shot this film, it's almost as if it's a black and white movie. However, it is a beautiful kind of monochromatic look to it that it's just a great looking movie. The audio quality is also fantastic. I would give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 as well. This is a great looking and great sounding Blu-ray release from Arrow Video. As far as the extras are concerned, first up, we get the history of Cruising, an archival featurette looking at the film's origins and production. It's 21 minutes and 5 seconds in length. It includes interviews with William Friedkin, consultant Sonny Grotto, producer Jerry Weintraub, consultant Randy Jurgensen, casting director Lou DiGiamato, Richard Cox, Dan Scardino, Gene Davis, Jay Acavone, and James Remar. They discuss the novel on which the film is based, developing the film, going to underground gay bars in New York to do research, the real-life murders of men who frequented gay clubs which inspired the film. They discuss Al Pacino being cast in the film. The actors discuss getting cast in the film, researching their characters, and working with William Friedkin, and more. Very nice. Next up, we get Exercising Cruising, an archival featurette looking at the controversy surrounding the film and its enduring legacy. It's 22 minutes and 31 seconds in length. It includes interviews with Jerry Weintraub, William Friedkin, director of photography James Contner, Randy Jurgensen, production executive Mark Johnson, Richard Cox, editor Bud Smith, James Remar, Gene Davis, Sonny Grotto, and Dan Scardino. They discuss some in the gay community embracing them making the film, while others protested it aggressively in order to prevent them from shooting Cruising. Friedkin discusses the violence in the film. They discuss wanting to keep the killer or killers' identity ambiguous. Friedkin discusses the music in the film, the issues the film had with the ratings board, and the poor reviews it received upon its release, and much more. Very nice. We also get an original trailer and 2 commentaries, one commentary with William Friedkin and the other commentary with William Friedkin and Mark Kermode. I listened to the commentary with Mr. Friedkin and Mr. Kermode. Mr. Friedkin discusses that Steven Spielberg was at one point attached to direct Cruising. Can you imagine Steven Spielberg's Cruising? Friedkin discusses shooting 40 minutes of what amounted to porn in order to give the MPAA something to draw their ire, so they'd leave the rest of the movie alone, which I thought was ingenious on William Friedkin's part. He discusses the James Franco connection to those 40 minutes of film. He discusses Richard Gere being cast in the lead prior to Al Pacino. He discusses the protests that occurred in opposition to the film, and a lot more. Very nice, informative, insightful commentary for Cruising. This is a really good commentary for Cruising. This is a solid Blu-ray release for Cruising from the fine folks over at Arrow Video. If you've not seen Cruising, go see Cruising. I cannot recommend it any higher. This Blu-ray release would be a great way to introduce yourself to the film. If you're a fan of Cruising, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray and adding it to your collection. The presentation is very nice. The picture quality and the sound quality are fantastic. You've got some nice extras on there, including a great commentary with William Friedkin. This is a must if you're a fan of Cruising. If you've seen Cruising, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite William Friedkin film is, not named The Exorcist, down in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons: Kevin Smythe, Orc145626, B-Movie Mike, Robert Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Craig Farrand, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Simon Clark, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Lauren Dixon, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Pete Toll, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Andrew McDonald, Dave Barnes, Jonathan Lundy, Chris Gonzalez, Trenton Bowser, Jason Breitenbach, Brandon Bisdick, Steak Sauce, OG Myers, Mark Striano, Jeff Gardner, and Travis Davis. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.